Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this morning's pre-service meditation. I'm Monica Zickus, one of your licensed practitioners here at CLF. Let's just start by closing our eyes and beginning to turn inward. Just noticing the breath, life-giving breath flowing in, flowing out. And now, let's rest in the silence. And beginning to bring our awareness back to this time, this space, taking a couple deep breaths in through the nose, expanding the belly, and beginning to wake the body up by maybe wiggling our toes or fingers, taking a deep stretch, and rejoining whenever you feel comfortable. And thank you for attending this morning's pre-service meditation. Service will begin shortly at 10 a.m.
Welcome to the Creative Living Fellowship online Sunday service. Please join us in our opening song, God is Enough.
God is enough. God is enough for me. God is enough for me. God is enough. God is enough for me. God is enough for me. You have got to stand, even if you don't feel it, even when you can't see it. You have got to stand. Sometimes you might stumble down the mountain of your dreams, but you must just get on up and stand. Say, God is enough for me. Oh, God is enough. God is enough for me. In the morning, God is enough. In the evening, every day I say, God is enough for me. You have got to stand when you're feeling hopeless and vision has been tossed upon a stormy sea. Move out to the Spirit, let the song sing through you. Joy is there in your soul. Get on up and stand. And say, God is enough for me. God is enough. God is enough for me. Oh, God is enough for me. God is enough. In the morning, in the evening, God is enough for me. I found a note in a bottle floating on the sea of life with a message in it saying it could end all my strife. If you're looking for heaven and want to be homeward bound, look within you, that's where the kingdom of God can be found. God is enough. God is enough. God is enough. I found a note in a bottle floating on the sea of life with a message in it saying it could end all my strife. If you're looking for heaven and wanna be homeward bound,
Indeed, God is enough. Good morning. My name is Carrie Sherman. I'm a licensed practitioner here at Creative Living Fellowship, and I'm delighted to serve as your Sunday service host today. Whether you are joining us on Zoom or Facebook Live or YouTube, it is my pleasure to say welcome and thank you for joining us. Creative Living Fellowship is an independent religious science church, and we honor all paths that lead to truth. Our deep intention here in this spiritual community is to be a community of love, care, and connection that opens hearts, expands consciousness, and transforms lives. And we do all of that through the principles and the practices of the science of mind. The science of mind is a new thought, philosophy, teaching that provides us with tools to live our best possible lives. We believe that there is only one power, one presence, one life in the universe, and that's everywhere present. And if that is the truth, then each one of us is a part of that life expressing uniquely. Another basic proposition of this philosophy is that we live in a mental or spiritual universe, and that things can be resolved into thoughts. Therefore, right ideas, correctly used, can and must produce right conditions. Change your thinking, and you're going to change your life. One of our spiritual practices is to hold the high watch, and that means the practice of sitting in a meditative state, holding a space for perfect unfoldment. And this morning, we are blessed to have practitioner Rhonda Emmerich holding the high watch for us for the perfect unfoldment of this service. So thank you, Rhonda, for your service and blessing us with this practice. Our musical inspiration today, Mr. Lynn Floyd. So wonderful to have him back with us. Now, practitioner and animal chaplain, Fran Peck, is going to bring us our opening prayer. Then that will be followed by the centering moment. And then Fran will be back with our inspirational reading for the day. So, Fran?
Good morning. So let's just turn within. Breathing into the awareness of that one power, that one presence, that one life. Recognizing that that one life, that one activity, that one breath is my life and breathes me. I live, move, and have my being in it as it lives, moves, has its being, and expresses uniquely and individually as me. As I know this is true for me, I know this is true for us all. We are all unique, individualized expressions of that one divine energy, that one divine peace, that one divine love, that one divine prosperity. And so knowing this truth, I speak my word of blessing for this service. I know it unfolds perfectly, divinely. I bless each and every person here and their service to this Creative Living Fellowship community. I bless the Creative Living Fellowship community, knowing that it is a divine idea in the mind of God. And I bless Reverend Dr. Sherry and her message, knowing that it is divinely inspired and that we each receive that for which we have need. I send blessings and love all across our planet, anywhere where the appearance of unrest, anything unlike the appearance of peace and love and harmony. I know that God is right in the midst and that peace and love prevail. And so in profound gratitude for this knowing, and in profound gratitude for the perfect manifestation of this word spoken, I simply release my word and allow it to be. And I say, thank you, life. Thank you, God. And so it is. Amen.
will it take for you to hear me? And what will it take for me to get through? A quiet whisper is enough for me, but what will it take for you? Must you feel pain in your body? Chaos in your home? The clutter of confusion, or blocks on the path that you're on? Do you notice me when you're happy, or is your euphoria much too high? Why wait till you're in the valley? Must you seek me with a sigh? Ooh, what will it take for you to hear me? And what will it take for me to get through? A quiet whisper is enough for me, but what will it take for you? In the bleakness of your winter, in the purging of your fall, even in the spring and summer, when you think you're the center of it all, I'm there for you when you want me, even there for you when you don't. I am there before you call me, I come through even when you think I won't. So what will it take for you to hear me? And what will it take for me to get through? A quiet whisper is enough for me, but what will it take for you?
Our reading this morning, Strength to be Free, an excerpt from For the Inward Journey by Howard Thurman. Give me the strength to be free. The thought of being free comes upon us sometimes with such power that under its impact, we lose the meaning that the thought implies. Often, being free means to be where we are not at the moment, to be relieved of a particular set of chores or responsibilities that are bearing heavily upon minds, to be surrounded by a careless rapture with no remedies of costs of any kind, to be on the open road with nothing overhead but the blue sky and whole days in which to roam. For many, being free means movement, change, reordering. Give me the strength to be free. Often, to be free means the ability to deal with the realities of one situation so as not to be overcome by them. It is the manifestation of a quality of being and living that results not only from understanding of one situation, but also from wisdom in dealing with it. It takes no strength to give up, to accept shackles of circumstance so that they become shackles of soul, to shrug the shoulders in bland acquiescence. This is easy. But do not congratulate yourself that you've solved anything. In simple language, you have sold out, surrendered, given up. It takes strength to affirm the high prerogative of your spirit. And you will find that if you do, a host of invisible angels will wing to your defense, and the glory of the living God will envelop your surroundings, because in you he has come into his own.
O great Spirit of love, giving freely, refusing none. O great Spirit of love, eternal goodness flows like a flood. Love is all is love. Join us in singing the music of one in all in one. No greater blessing neath moon or sun. O great Spirit of love, giving freely, refusing none. O great Spirit of love, eternal goodness flows like a flood. Love is all is love. Join us in singing the music of one in all in one. No greater blessing neath moon or sun. Oh, no greater blessing, oh great Spirit, neath moon or sun. Oh, great Spirit, no greater blessing.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, favorite friend, Gary Lynn Floyd, and welcome back. We're glad to have you here with us this morning. Good morning, everyone. Let's take a breath together as we just move into this part of our service and take another breath together. This month, we're talking about New Day Dawning. That's the theme for the month of July, New Day Dawning. And you know, this can be an exciting time, an amazing time, and it can also be a pretty scary time, New Day Dawning, because that means that everything has changed. Everything continues to change. And as we move in, which happens every day, no 2 days are alike. And so as we move into this global new day dawning, we move into it with excitement, enthusiasm, or we move into it with fear and doubt and anxiety. The choice is really ours to make. We have so many opportunities throughout each and every day to make the choice, to make the decision as to how we're going to experience this new day dawning. Because you know what? The day is going to dawn regardless of our experience of it, regardless of the way that we handle it, regardless of whether we approach it in fear or in anxiety, in doubt, or with hope and with enthusiasm. And so all of that is determined by how we are perceiving it, how we are allowing ourselves to be as we move through this thing called life. And my topic today is don't fall for the okey doke. The one way that we really want to move through this with ease and with grace and with peace and with harmony and with enthusiasm and with our seatbelts fastened is not falling for the okey doke. You know, the okey doke is defined as some type of trickery or attempts to mislead or deceive in some way, or to persuade or to influence people, falling for the okey doke, something that's not real, but being influenced to follow or to believe in something. And so falling for the okey doke means that you're not thinking for yourself. You're being misled by someone else, or you're being tricked by someone or something else. And so today I'm saying don't fall for the okey doke. And the okey doke is that which keeps us in fear. The okey doke is something for us to be aware of, something for us to be mindful of, for something for us to be, I don't want to say on guard for, because we don't want to walk around being on guard, but just being aware, being independent thinkers, not being sheeple, but being independent thinkers as we move through this life, thinking for ourselves. When we hear something, don't believe everything you hear. Don't believe everything you see, but take the time to investigate, take the time to research, take the time to determine for yourself, to think it through, because we are all tapped into that one mind. There's only one mind. There's only one mind, and our mind is a part of that one mind. And so if there's something that's being told us or something that is being sold to us or whatever, take the time to think about it. Take the time to take a breath and step back and see whether this makes sense for me in my life. Is this consistent with my beliefs? Is this consistent with my values? And you know, as I'm thinking about the okey doke, one of the things that is prevalent right now in our society and all the things we hear is that sense of powerlessness and the message that we are powerless, that all these things are happening to us, that we are in that kingdom one consciousness of being the victims, that everything is happening to us in this world. The government is doing this to us, another country is doing this to us, other people, they are doing this to us. Something is happening to us, we're in victimhood. That's what the okey doke is all about. That's what the okey doke is all about, that we're powerless. And you know, one thing that I know for sure, and that you know for sure, as we practice these principles of the science of mind, we know for sure that we're not powerless. We know for sure that there's a power for good in the universe and that we can use it. And so to the degree that we do stand in this truth that we know, then we're not falling for the okey doke. But the minute we start to feel hopeless, and the minute we start to feel powerless, and the minute we start to just give up and feel like, well, what can I do about it? There's nothing I can do. They have control. They have the power. They can make these decisions. They are all this about they, them, they. And we forget that the power is with us. The power is with us. The power is with us to the degree that we are anchored in that one power and that one presence, and remembering who we are, standing in who we are, standing in our own values, standing in what we believe, then we recognize that we're not powerless. We recognize that there is hope. Hope is always, always, always alive. And so we take those actions and we make those decisions in our lives that keep hope alive in our lives. And we do this by refusing to fall for the okey doke, and recognizing the okey doke when we hear it, when we see it. And we can sometimes recognize it by our own feelings, by, you know, whether or not we're caught up in fear, whether or not we're caught up in doubt, whether or not we're caught up in anxiety, whether or not we're caught up in sense of separation. And when we're caught up in that sense of separation, we have to take a deep breath and just step back and say, oh, I almost fell for the okey doke. I almost fell for the okey doke. Let me step back into the truth that I know. Let me step back into the truth that I know. And so what I'm inviting you to do as you step back into the truth that you know is to really become an observer of life. Become an observer of life. Become an observer. And then to be an observer, we have to be aware. We have to be awake. We have to be alert. We have to be mindful as we go through our lives. We don't have to be on guard, but we have to be awake and aware and alert to what's going on around us, what's being told us. There's so many messages. And as we go through this election season, as we approach this election season, we are told so many things that could scare us mindless. We're being told that that the world is going to hell in a handbasket, and there's nothing we can do about it. And you know what? That's not true. That is not true. There's a power for good in the universe that is greater than all these things that are happening. There's a power for good in the universe that is greater than everything, and we can use it. We can determine the quality of our own lives. We can determine the experience of our own lives just by using this power for good in the universe. This power for good that is for us. There's nothing in the universe working against us. Everything, the power for good is working for us. The universe does not work against us. Those are the kinds of things that we have to keep in mind as we move through this time, as we move into this new day dawning. And so that's what I'm encouraging you to do. Determine what your experience is going to be. Determine what your experience is going to be. Determine what your experience is going to be, how you're going to experience this new day. You can't determine what the events are going to be, but you can determine what your experience of the events will be. How will you experience the events that are coming up? Will you experience them in fear and doubt and anxiety, or will you be centered and anchored and follow that guidance that is always available to you? Will you follow that guidance that is always available? Because when we step back, when we take that breath, when we open up, when we are in alignment with our values, when we are in alignment with who we are, when we are in alignment with the all that is, that power and that presence that is the only thing that is, when we are in alignment with that, then we are proceeding from a place of centeredness. And our experience is totally different than it would be if we were in alignment with all the external things that are going on. And so I'm inviting you to just really look at how will you experience, how will you move through this day? How will you move through this new day dawning, through this new time? So determine what your experience will be. Determine what your own experience, follow that guidance that is available, but you know what? You can't be open to that guidance unless you are in alignment with it, unless you determine that you're going to be in alignment with it. Be an independent thinker. Be an independent thinker. As I said, don't believe everything you hear. Don't believe everything you see. Make your own decisions from investigating, from your own research, from your own thought process, from your own turning within. Because that guidance is there for us always. The answers are there for us always. And so we don't have to fall for the okey doke. We don't have to get caught up in the okey doke. We can remain centered. We can always come back to center. We can always come back to that power and that presence that is right where we are always, and then proceed from there. And you know what? As we go through this determining how our experience of the new day dawning is going to be, have your spiritual go bag. Have your spiritual go bag. When I lived in California, there were several big earthquakes that happened while the years that I lived in California. And so we always had to have a go bag, a bag for in case of emergency, your emergency bag that you grab at the last minute when you need it and go. And you had all your tools were right there. All the things you needed were always right there in that go bag. And, it could be a first aid kit, it could be water, it could be food, it could be extra clothing, it could be blankets, it could be whatever it is we may need in case of an emergency if there were an earthquake or if there was some kind of natural disaster. We need a spiritual go bag. We need a spiritual go bag. What's in your spiritual go bag? Do you have one? If something comes up unexpectedly, what do you do? Where do you go? How do you handle it? If something comes up unexpectedly and that there's an emergency, or there's something that makes you really fearful, or there's something that makes you really feel like you don't know how to deal with it, or whatever the case may be, what's your spiritual go bag? One of the things that could be in your spiritual go bag has to be starting with affirmations, because that's the first thing that's the easiest thing to grab when an emergency comes up. When you find yourself in a position where you feel like you don't know what to do, you're afraid, or something unexpected happens, or whatever the case may be, opening your mouth, taking a breath, and saying an affirmation of truth, a statement of truth that will anchor you, that will bring you back into the presence, that will move you into alignment with the truth of your being, with the all that is. That's one of the first things to be in your spiritual go bag. And your first affirmation could always be just what we teach in Science of Mind. There's a power for good in the universe, and I can use it. If something comes up unexpected, there's a power for good in the universe, and I can use it. And you know what? You can tailor that to, there's a power for good in the universe, and I'm using it right now. There's a power for good in the universe, and I'm using it right now, no matter what these appearances may be, no matter what these people are saying out here, no matter what I see that people are doing out here. There's a power for good in the universe, and I can use it. And believing that there's a power for good in the universe, and I can use it. And there's a power for good in the universe, and I'm using it right now. I'm using it right now because I know that it is right here, right now, right where I am, that it is that from which I can never be separate. And so these are the kinds of things that we want to keep in our go bag. You know, there may be a song that sings you. There may be readings that you may have. There may be a journal. There may be whatever the case may be. But you determine what's going to be in your spiritual go bag. When emergency comes up, what do I do? When emergency comes up, where do I go? Go to prayer. Go to prayer. But whatever works for you, whatever keeps you anchored, whatever keeps you in alignment is where you want to be as we walk through this time. And these are the kinds of things that keep us from falling for the okey doke. These are the kinds of things that keep us from feeling like that there's nothing we can do about it, from feeling hopeless. These are the kinds of things that we want to do. Make sure that you have your spiritual go bag and keep it ready, keep it at hand all the time. You know, some things I hear people say a lot during these times is that this is not the same world we used to have. Well, no, it's not. It's not supposed to be. That's what evolution is all about. Things are changing. We are not leaving our children the world that we have. No, we're not. Our parents didn't leave us the world that they had. Their parents didn't leave them the world that they had. The world is always changing. Each generation has its own world. Each generation has its own challenges, and each generation has its own tools to deal with them. And so we're not supposed to be leaving the same world. The world is changing. And yes, there's loss, because anytime there's change, there's loss. Anytime there's change, there's loss. And that's not all bad. You know, letting go of the old way. No, we are not leaving our children the same world, but they have their own challenges and they have their own tools. You know, I was thinking about a story that I saw about during the time of the shooting on the 4th of July, and in Highland Park, Illinois. And I heard a woman relating a story that as the people were running, there was a little boy who was crying. Standing by himself crying, and another little boy ran up to him and asked him, what's wrong? And the little boy was scared and he was crying. He didn't know what to do. And the little boy who ran up to him took his hand and said, come with me. I'll show you what to do. I know what to do. I learned what to do in school in our active shooter training. And the adults who were talking about this were saying how sad that was, that our children today have to learn about active shooter training. Yes, that's one perspective. It is sad that they have to learn that. But you know what the other part of that is? This little boy knew what to do. He had the tools to know what to do. The children, no, we don't want our children to have to know these things, but they do. This is the world we live in today. And the fact that this one child knew what to do because he's been trained to do this. And he was able to comfort the other child and say, come with me, I can show you what to do. I can show you what to do because I know what to do, because I learned what to do. Yes, on the one hand, from one perspective, that's a sad thing. On the other hand, that's a good thing. Because as I said, that as evolution happens, we learn more and more. Each generation has to learn. You know, back during the time of Columbine, there was no active shooter training. Nobody knew what to do. The kids didn't know what to do. But now they do, because the world has changed and it is necessary for them to know what to do in those kinds of situations. And however sad that may be, however that may break our hearts, this is where we are now. And when we find that this is where we are, then what do we do with where we are? We make the very best we can of this situation. And so what I'm inviting you to do in situations like that is instead of determining where our focus is going to be. If our focus is going to be on the shock and horror of a situation, then that's the only thing that we're going to see is the shock and horror of the situation. But if our focus if in our focus we can look beyond the shock and horror, look through the shock and horror, then we can see the benefits. We can see the hope. We can see the hope, and we can see the way out. The shock and horror can be our prayer request. Yes, there's shock and horror. Yes, that shooting or whatever the case may be, it's shocking. It's horrible. It's a prayer request. This is what we take to prayer. But when we look beyond that, when we look beyond the appearance of the shock and horror, when we look to the people helping people, as I was telling you last week about my friend Gary Jones, who was in the train accident, looking beyond the shock and horror of the train accident to the people helping each other, to the unity. That's where the hope is. That's where the hope is. That's where the hope is. And that's where we realize that the power is. And so learning to look beyond the appearance, learning to look beyond, oh my God, how terrible this is, and looking straight through it to the truth. This is how we see God in everything. We were talking about this last week also. How do I see God in this? This is how we see God in it, because we look beyond the appearance and we recognize that all the appearances are prayer requests. We treat them as prayer requests. We treat them as prayer requests, and this is how we move forward. This is how we move forward, taking it to prayer, taking it to that power and that presence that can change things. That can change things. Because taking it to, as I said, social media, taking it to some external being, taking it to some external place doesn't do anything but help to pollute the environment, because it adds to the pollution that already is. It adds to the confusion that already is. And so what we want to do is to don't fall for the okey doke. Don't fall for the okey doke. Yes, there is something we can do. We can take a step back and determine, how do I want to respond? How do I want to respond in this situation? How do I want to do? What kind of action do I want to take? If I don't want to just sit idly by and just watch these things unfold, if I want the world to change, what can I contribute? How am I going to live? What am I going to do? How am I going to be? These are the questions that we ask of ourselves. What do I want to do? And then, you know what? Turn within to that place that has all the answers. Turn within to that power and that presence in whose image and likeness we are all made. And ask the question, how shall I live? What can I do in this situation? What is mine to do? Maybe it's running for office if you want to see change happen. Maybe it's voting if you've not done that before, or really making the effort to do whatever is necessary to be a responsible citizen. Maybe it's writing a letter to a congressman. Maybe it's protesting. Maybe it's whatever. But you will know that from the guidance that you receive when we turn within and align with the all that is. And so making the determination as to how you're going to live now, and not falling for the okey doke, because as I said, there's always something and some message out there that's going to tell us that we're powerless. That's going to tell us that there's nothing we can do about it. That's going to tell us that the world has changed so much, there's nothing, that we're losing everything. And one of the things that I want to invite you to do is to also, when we step back and take a breath, just ask yourself, you know what? Let's see how God's going to work this out. Let's see how God's going to work this out. Let's see how God's going to work this out. Because you know what? God always works it out. God always works it out. You know, there's a saying that there's never anything new under the sun. We've seen inflation before. We've seen high gas prices before, maybe not as high as they are now, but we've seen this before. We've seen recessions before. We've seen changes in the economy before, and all of that has worked out. We've seen war before. We've seen discord before, and it's all worked out. It's all worked out. We've seen disharmony before. We've seen all these things before. We've seen huge shifts. We've seen all this before, and God always works it out because God is always in the midst of everything. No matter what we call it, God is in the midst of it, always. And so when we can remember that, and not only the big things like that, the big things that are happening in the world, but the things that are happening in our own lives. If there's something that's happening in your own individual life right now, if there's illness, if there's loss, if there's a financial crisis, if whatever it is that's happening in your life, take a deep breath, step back, and just say, you know what, let me see how God's going to work this out. Let me see how God's going to work this out. Because I know God's going to work it out. I know God's going to work it out. Let me just step back and align myself with the only thing that can work it out. Let me align myself with the only thing that can work it out, and then align with that. And you will be shown what to do. You will be shown how to do it. You will be shown when to do it. You will be shown everything you need to know about how to move forward into this new day dawning. Because you know what? This new day is dawning, and we're going to be moving forward into it, whether we go forward into it kicking and screaming, or whether we allow ourselves to move forward with ease and with grace and in the flow of pure spirit guiding us and directing us every step of the way. And that's what's happening. Spirit is always guiding us, always directing us every step of the way. Whether we can see that far ahead or not, whether we know what's going on or not, whether we think we have control, whatever the case may be, God is always guiding us. God is always right where we are. And this is the thing that we have to really keep in mind. And you know what, this is my message every week. This is my message all the time. God is always right where we are. Nothing can change that. Nothing can change that. Nothing can change that. No thing can change that. And so when we get anchored in that truth, and we are determined to do what is before us to do, without worrying about all the stuff that's going on out there, do what is before you to do. What is before me in this moment to do? And when we are doing what is before us to do, we stay out of worry, we stay out of anxiety, we stay out of fear, because you know what? If we're doing what's before us to do, we're in this moment. Just like right here in this moment, what is before you to do right now is to sit here and listen to me. What is before me to do right now is to sit here and talk to you. That's what's before us to do right now. And so there's no reason for me to worry right now. There's no reason for you to worry right now, because that's not before you. That's not before you. If you're feeling anxious about something, it's because there's something that you're concerned about that's going to happen in the future, and you're not there. That's not before you. If you're feeling regretful about something, feeling really bad about something, it's because you're concerned about something that happened in the past, and you're not there either. Right here in this moment, what is there to worry about right here, right now? Right here in this moment, right now. What is there to worry about? What is there to be concerned about? What is there to be anxious about? And that's how we walk through this time in our lives. This is how we walk through our lives. And as we walk through this life, we know that we're never walking alone, that there's that power and presence for good in the universe that we can use, that is always right where we are. That's always right where we are. That is always right where we are. And that nothing can change that. That nothing can change that, because we are one with that power. We are one with that presence. We are one with that power. We are one with that presence. We are one with that power. We are one with that presence. Nothing can change that. We can't change that. We can ignore it. We can pretend we don't know it exists. We can pretend that we aren't one with it and start acting separate. And where does that get us? But you know what? Nothing changes that. And so we have the freedom to choose. We have the freedom to choose to walk into this new day dawning, knowing that we are guided, knowing that we are directed, knowing that we are loved, knowing that we are cared for, knowing that we are safe, knowing that we are protected, knowing that we don't have to fall for the okey doke. Because the truth is that this power and this presence is right where we are, always, always. This is the only thing that we need to know. This is the only thing that we need to stand in. And so that's what I'm inviting you to do today, is to stand in the truth that you know. Determine what your experience of this new day dawning is going to be. Know that you have the power to change your thinking and change your life. Know that by changing your thinking, you have the power to change the quality of your life. To change the quality of your life. To change the quality of your life. And so that's what I'm inviting you to do today. Use this power for good that's in the universe. Use this power that's greater than all else, because it's available to us. It's available to us. And this is one of the beauties of the science of mind teachings, is that we know that there's a power for good in the universe and that we can use it. And I invite you to use it. It's ours. Stand in it, use it, and be free. Be free. Be free. So let's take a breath together as we just turn within for prayer. Just turning within in this moment to that place of just knowing that this power for good in the universe is right here, right now, right where we are in the midst of everything. There's this power for good in the universe that we can use. This power that is the only power in the universe, that is the only power, the only presence, the only life, the only mind, the only activity is this one power. This one power, and this one power is my very life. It is the life of each one of us. It is that from which we can never be separate. This one power, this one presence, this one mind, this one life, this one activity. God, God, the source of our being, the source of our being, that from which we can never be separate. That from which we can never be separate, for we are made in his image and his likeness and out of God itself. And so from this place of truth that I know, I speak the word for each of us this day, just speaking the word of power, just speaking a word of wholeness, just speaking a word of gratitude, just being so grateful this day to know the truth that God is all there is. To know the truth that there is a power for good in the universe that we can use and that is available to us always. And that this power is always, always right where we are. That this power is always loving, is always comforting, is always guiding, is always directing, is always protecting. And it is doing all of these things right here, right now, all at one time, always and ever. And so I speak a word for each of us, knowing that we are whole, that we are perfect, that we are complete just as we are. And that where there is any need, this power is right where we are to fulfill that need, whatever it may be. Whether it's healing in the body temple or healing in the bodies of affairs or healing in our financial affairs, whatever it is that we need, God is showing up as this thing that we need right now, as needs being fulfilled right here and right now. This is the truth that I know, and this is what I know that's been experienced by each one of us this day. And so I know that as we open up and just release and let go of fear and doubt and anxiety and all those things that would block us, all those things that would hold us back, all those things that would make us feel separate, we release and let go and just allow this power for good to work in our lives. To allow this power for good to work in our lives, to allow this power for good to work in this world. This is what we do. This is the word that I speak this day. And so I know that as we do this, all things are made new. All things are made new. All things are made new. Because in God, each and every moment is made new. This is a truth that I know. Each and every moment is made new in each of our lives, in each of our experiences, in each of our affairs. All things are made new. And so I just pause momentarily as I speak this word so that you may speak the names of anyone you'd like held in prayer this day. You may speak their names silently or loud, but you may speak them now. And so for all those whose names were spoken here this day, I know that God is right where each one is, blessing and keeping them, and that all things are made new in their lives. But God is in the midst of everything. This word goes out to anyone on this planet needing a prayer this day, knowing that right where each one is, God is in the midst of every circumstance, every situation, every event. God is in the midst of it all. I simply say thank you, Father, Mother God, for the word spoken here this day. Thank you for the healing that's happening throughout this world. throughout this entire planet. Thank you for healing and wholeness that is revealing itself everywhere, in every life, in every experience. Thank you, God, for everything. I know that all is well. I know that all is God. And so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Sherry, for that divinely inspired message today. And now is the time that we participate in the divine law of giving and receiving by giving of our tithes and offerings. CLF is a tithing church, and we invite you to join us in this sacred practice by tithing here at CLF. You can click on the donate link on our website or in the comments in Zoom or on Facebook. CLF has changed our donation software from Breeze to Aplos. So if you're currently auto tithing to CLF, we need you to do these two things as soon as possible before July 31st, 2022. First, cancel your auto tithe account in Breeze. And then second, create your new auto tithe account in Aplos. The new CLF text to give phone number is 844-941-4360. If you have any questions or need assistance, don't worry. Please just email me at deb@creativelivingfellowship.com, or you can call me through the church office at 602-906-4080. I will also be reaching out to each of you who auto tithe while this changeover is taking place to make sure that there are no issues. We greatly appreciate your continued financial support of Creative Living Fellowship. And now let us repeat our offering blessing. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God, and so it is. And now it's my pleasure to welcome back Lynn Floyd with our offering song.
I am stable and secure. I surround myself with joy. Take care of my well-being. Cosmic vibes have got me singing. I'm stable and secure. I am stable and secure. I surround myself with joy. Take care of my well-being. Cosmic vibes have got me singing. I'm stable and secure. From the soles of my feet to the top of my head. Yeah. When the flow is complete, I will go where I'm led. Lead me where I'm led. Lead me where I'm led. Lead me where I'm led. Karen says I'm too blessed to be stressed. Eddie says I am the place where God shows up. Jamie says love is my religion, helps me make my own decision to be stable and secure. From the soles of my feet to the top of my head. Yeah. When the flow is complete, I will go where I'm led. Yeah. Lead me where I'm led. Lead me where I'm led. I am stable and secure. I surround myself with joy. Take care of my well-being. Cosmic vibes have got me singing. I'm stable and secure. Karen says I'm too blessed to be stressed. Eddie says I am the place where God shows up. And Jamie says love is my religion, helps me make my own decision to be stable and secure. From the soles of my feet to the top of my head, yeah. When the flow is complete, I will go where I'm led. Lead me 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 where I'm led.
Thank you so much, Gary Lynn Floyd. Thank you so much for that beautiful, beautiful music. We look forward to having you back again soon. And now I invite you to take a breath with me. I'm excited to move into this next part of our service. We have a special recognition today. We have two practitioners here at Creative Living Fellowship who have attained emeritus status. And that means that they both have served as practitioners for 20 years. And it's unbelievable, and it is so, so wonderful. So we'd like to recognize them for their service and for attaining this milestone today. The first is Reverend Mary Jane Hyde. She is one of our, she was one of our founding members here at a Creative Living Fellowship. And she has been a practitioner, as I said, for 20 years. She was in the first practitioner class. She and the other practitioner is Carrie Sherman, and they both were in the first practitioner class, and they both have attained emeritus status. I don't know how the dates got a little bit different. They were both in the same class. Mary Jane's status was licensed on November 9th of 2001, and Carrie was licensed on December 8th of 2001. We are not quite sure how that happened, but it did. But whatever, it's still been 20 years that they have served Creative Living Fellowship honorably and very, very well as practitioners here. And we so appreciate them and so love them so, so very much. So first of all, I'd like to, for Mary Jane Hyde, who you see on the screen with me, there's a certificate from Emerson Institute for Practitioner Emeritus, and this is the certificate that Reverend Mary Jane will be receiving, showing her dates of service, her dates of licensing, and congratulations on that milestone, Reverend Mary Jane. And the next thing that we have for Mary Jane is the practitioner plaque from Creative Living Fellowship saying Practitioner Emeritus in recognition of 20 years as a licensed practitioner from November 19th, I thought it was November 19th, 2001 to December 31st, 2021. And it's Creative Living Fellowship, July 10th, which is today, 2022. I'm not getting all these dates together, even though I'm reading them. So this is the gift that Reverend Mary Jane will receive and the certificate that she will receive also. So congratulations, Reverend Mary Jane. We love you so much, and we're so happy and appreciate your service so much. And then secondly, we have practitioner Carrie Sherman, who has served for 20 years as a practitioner here. She was in the first class, as I said, and her certificate is from licensing date is December 8th, I think, 2001. But whatever, it's been 20 years that she has served. And we are so, so pleased and so happy to celebrate this milestone with you and to thank you for your service. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your service. We so appreciate you. We so love you. And let's show her certificate. It is from Emerson Institute. Carrie Sherman has attained the status of Practitioner of Religious Science Emeritus. And this will be sent out to Carrie. As will Mary Jane's certificate be sent out to her. And then she also will receive the practitioner plaque Practitioner Emeritus plaque in recognition of 20 years as a licensed practitioner, December 8th, 2001 to December 31st, 2021, from Creative Living Fellowship, dated today. Congratulations, Carrie. We love you. We appreciate you. We thank you so much for your service. And for both Mary Jane and Carrie, I'd like for everyone to know that they're not going to be practitioners any longer. They are going to continue to be practitioners. They just don't have to go through the licensing requirements and jump through all the hoops that practitioners have to jump through. But they will be continuing to serve because they'll be practitioners for life, always. And I just wanted to recognize them today, to let them know how much we appreciate them, how much we love them, and to have the community just give them a hand. If we were in person, we would be giving them a standing ovation. So you can feel free to give them a standing ovation in your homes and give them a shout out, send them an email, I see standing ovations back there on Zoom. So thank you all so very, very much. And again, I love you. Thank you for your service. And I look forward to many more years together. Thank you both very much. So now here's Nicole with the announcements.
Well, let me take this moment to also say congratulations and thank you, Mary Jane and Carrie, for all the gift of you that you've given to this community and making CLF what it is. All right, well, with that, let's move on to our announcements. Meditation is a great mindfulness practice that helps us get comfortable with silence. And as we master that still silent space, we open ourselves up to God. So join us for midday meditation to start or support your meditation practice. And if you need help adding it to your spiritual go bag, midday meditation is at noon, Monday through Friday. We also hold a 20-minute pre-service meditation on Sundays at 9:35 a.m. Thank you, Monica, for today's meditation. Join us for any of these meditations through our Facebook and YouTube live streams or in Zoom. Join Reverend Jorge every Monday evening to explore spiritual practices and apply Sunday messages to the lessons and experiences of our day-to-day life. By increasing our practices, we open up to see beyond our boundaries and self-interests and transform our consciousness to enjoy the union with God and to live from that union. You can participate in Monday practice with Reverend Jorge through our Facebook and YouTube live streams at 6:30 p.m. Get your community care and connection on with your CLF family and Reverend Sherry every Tuesday as she hosts a Zoom meeting at 6:30. This week, Reverend Sherry will be leading Conscious Conversation. We look forward to seeing you on Tuesday. The Ernest Holmes book study is underway. They are reading The Hidden Power of the Bible, What Science of Mind Reveals About the Bible and You. And they're meeting weekly on Saturdays to discuss, grow, and connect. The Ernest Holmes book study is a drop-in group and a great spiritual practice. So get your copy of The Hidden Power of the Bible and read through chapter 2, and then join them this Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon. Reverend Sherry will be leading our monthly community visioning on Sunday, July 17th at 11:30 a.m. You're invited and encouraged to be a part of this sacred practice of opening up and making ourselves available to catch God's vision for Creative Living Fellowship. Remember that God's vision for CLF can only be expressed through us. So join us for this very special community event. All right, close your eyes for a moment. Take a breath. What stands between you and the life of your dreams? It usually comes down to one word: fear. What would it look like if you gave yourself permission to dissolve that fear into energy, excitement, and freedom? What do you need to give yourself to feel the freedom of all the things you desire and all the qualities you want to feel? Do you want some help to figure it out? Well, then join Karen Drucker in Zoom on Sunday, July 31st for her Fearless Fun and Freedom workshop, or Play Shop, as she likes to call it. You can check out our website to find out more and register today. Our Sunday prayer room is available to you after service today. Our practitioners are available for a one-on-one prayer with you in private breakout rooms. Or you can reach out to one of our on-call practitioners. The list can be found in the comments or on our website under prayer. You can also send a prayer request to prayer@creativelivingfellowship.com. Upon receipt, our practitioners will pray over your request for 30 days. Remember, you don't need to walk around with a heavy heart. Our practitioners are waiting for the opportunity to serve you in prayer. Also, after service, we have Sunday fellowship. Join us in Zoom and hang out, discuss the service, and connect with your CLF family. If you're in Zoom with us now, just stay where you are. If you're not, then join us at the end of service. The links can be found in the comments or on our website under events, under our Facebook events, or in your weekly newsletter. In all of those locations, you can also find the links and information for all of our opportunities to connect and practice together. Well, that's it for my announcements. It is now back to Reverend Sherry.
Thank you, Nicole. I just have a couple of reminders. And I was just thinking about it as Nicole was doing the announcements. The plaques have been mailed out to Mary Jane and to Carrie, and they went out early. So I had to send them an email and say, don't open any packages that come to your house that you didn't order, so that they wouldn't open them before today, because it was supposed to be a surprise for them. So I'm trusting that they didn't do that. So they didn't open them. So again, congratulations to you both. And I just have a couple of reminders. Of course, I always remind you to use the treatment for supply. That's our community prayer. And so we use it every day, twice a day. And it really, really, really works. And so I invite you to continue to do that. And I always invite you to continue to connect with each other. Emails, text messages, phone calls. Some people are even getting together in person now, but however you connect, just connecting to say, I love you, I miss you, spend some time together, whatever the case may be. We will be coming back in person very, very soon, sooner than you think, sooner than we know. And meanwhile, we want to stay in touch with each other as a community. So I love you, I miss you, can't wait to see you all really, really soon. And I'm really happy that you joined us here for our service today. Take a breath. We're going to now move into our closing song. I release and I let go.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm all